We are getting quite a little Eddie Murphy action going up on the channel now.
Yeah, and we got two Martin Lawrence ones this week.
Yeah, two Martin Lawrence. This one and then the next movie we're going to film. Hi, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Dell.
And this is the Black Catch-Up, where we're catching up on iconic black media we missed out on in our more conservative religious childhood.
All right, so today we had Life.
Yes. A 1999 movie starring Eddie Murphy again. And for the first time on this channel, if I'm not mistaken, Martin Lawrence.
Maybe his first time in a starter. We did Bad Boys, right?
No.
We didn't do Bad Boys?
I'm almost positive we didn't do Bad Boys.
Oh, okay.
I think we both seen Bad Boys, like, separately.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to
But we didn't do
like,
Bad
revive
Boys.
that or something, yeah. Okay.
We can do Bad Boys, is what we're saying. But
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
almost positive we didn't do it.
Yeah, but I know this is definitely like our first time having him as a lead. I feel like he might have had a cameo somewhere or something, but it feels like this can't be our first time seeing him completely, but definitely like our first time seeing him in like a lead, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So, IMDb. In 1932, two strangers are wrongfully convicted and develop a strong friendship in prison that lasts them through the 20th century.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, as usual, start off with pros, things we
Yes.
liked. Yeah, I guess I'll kick this one off.
Yeah.
I guess we'll kind of start with the obvious, I thought they were really funny, both Martin Lawrence and this one was Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, I thought they were both really funny, and I thought
That's like an obvious one.
Yeah, I thought like the
They're
kind of
both like really
unscripted
great
nature.
comedic actors.
Yep. But I thought like the unscripted nature of it really let them both kind of breathe and get into their thing, and like I thought they also like played off each other well. Like I think Eddie Murphy's definitely a little more over the top, and Martin Lawrence seemed a little like calmer to kind of like, but still like equally as funny. But yeah, I know like sometimes comedians get like super goofy in films like this, but yeah, I thought they definitely balanced each other out and didn't like go too off the wall or anything, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that. They did a good job of having Martin Lawrence, I guess, was more the straight man in this scenario. But yeah, I think it worked really well for them, and their chemistry bounced off each other very well. I'll start off by saying I like the initial setup of the conflict, I guess, for them, where they're in the barn with the dead man and they're framed for his murder. I just thought that was a very interesting way to get from point A to point B of where we needed to be, which is in the prison for, I guess, almost a century. I just thought that was a good setup.
Yeah, and I guess kind of bouncing off that, I liked the setting of it being in like a prison that was like basically slavery, but not.
Yeah.
You know, like I thought that was just like, I don't know, like I guess I don't think we've done a lot of like slave movies on this channel, but this is definitely like an interesting kind of twist on it. You know, like because it was essentially the same thing, but like they were just in prison, and it was like a lot goofier, I guess, but or felt a lot more like lighthearted, but. Yeah, I also did like the setting and how they got there, you know?
Yeah, that was really good. Your turn. Because that was
my point was the setting. I like the, like...
okay.
Yeah, it being like a prison slave movie, yeah.
Okay, so in terms of characters, besides the main ones, I think Biscuit, he did a good job, and his character was good at kind of, like, bringing some more, like... grounding and I guess a bit more like touching moments to the story, because he was a gay prisoner and he found his family inside the prison, and he was like, he got his release papers and he was very nervous to like be on the outside, even though that's something that all of them kind of dream about. But he had that unique situation where, since it was, I want to say for him it was like maybe the 40s by that time. I know they did a couple of time skips, so I'm not quite sure, but it was in like 19 bad to be gay. So he was definitely very nervous about it and going to see his mom. So just like that little scene he had with Eddie Murphy's character, up until him like committing suicide by purposefully going over the line, he just like his little character arc was very heartbreaking but touching, and I think it was nice like grounding in the movie besides all like the over the top antics that were taking place.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I definitely think there were like kind of some underlying like real things discussed. Like,
Yeah.
there was that scene, and then I also like the scene where Ray's talking about his boom boom room with all the prisoners, and they're just kind of like
that was gonna be my next
allowing the
point. I
fantasy.
loved that.
Yeah, no, I like that one too. And then even the whole idea of like, you know, cops being crooked and getting people put away for everything for nothing, and then
Yeah.
money being the way to get out with the little baseball kid who ended up like,
Yeah.
you know, being free just because he was like good at baseball, you know. So like I thought it did like touch on very like real things sort of, you know. So
Yeah.
I did like that aspect of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess my next point kind of like on the casting. I thought the casting was pretty good, especially for some of these like side characters.
Yeah. We had
I
Bernie
don't know.
Mac in there.
Yeah, yeah,
We had a very large and in charge Anthony Anderson.
yeah, yeah, and that.
Not to like rag on his weight or anything. It's just he's so much slimmer now that it's always so wild to me to see him in like a lot of these older roles because he's like a pretty heavy guy when you like when he
Yeah,
was like
yeah.
first on the scene.
Yeah, but yeah, I thought like the supporting roles were like casted really well. Like even like those roles from the beginning, like I don't know, I thought the white cop and the like white
Yeah.
prison guard was like easy to hate, which I guess is kind of their role, you know.
Yeah.
Even the cop guy's assistant, like the one black dude who like also had a gun in the prison.
Yes.
Like I thought
Yes, I
his
know.
casting was well. So
I don't know his name, but I know who you're talking
no,
about.
I don't remember his name either. But yeah, I thought the casting was actually pretty good in this one.
Yeah, I thought so too. I guess my last point that I have was that this movie actually had a pretty effective montage, which is very wild to say because most of the time when we come on here, we're like, and then there was a montage and oh, it sucked
Yeah.
and it made no sense. But the little montage that they had was pretty effective of showing the passage of time while still seeing them like seeing Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence grow apart, but also see how the prison changed with like characters leaving by death, basically. But
Yeah,
I just thought
yeah.
it was a pretty effective montage for like getting us through that hump to them being like 90 or however old they were at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I just noted it because we're so used to saying this montage sucked. Why is there a montage?
Yeah, no, I definitely remember seeing this montage and like appreciating it being there. I was like, oh, this is like a nice montage, you know, especially
Yeah.
for like this kind of movie. And again, normally it's like that like slave montage that you don't want to see,
Yeah.
but I don't know, it worked in this one.
Yeah, I thought it worked well too.
Um,
So, do you have anything else?
yeah, no, we can get on to negatives, I think.
Okay, negatives. Whew. My negative, I have like one big one, and it was the ending. It was just, I feel as though there are a couple of parts to why I didn't like the ending.
Or wait, first, what do you count as the ending? Like from where?
From the part where the guard who set them up was like, we see him become the new head of the prison.
Okay.
Not that entire sequence, but I guess starting from the time when they're on that like hunt, I guess is what I'll say. Like we now
Okay.
know who that guy is. They're on the hunt. Yada yada yada. I just
Yeah,
think that the main antagonist of this movie is the prison system, and not so much the guy who set them up to be like incarcerated for life. So it was just very like it didn't. While I was like I felt for them that they saw the guy there, and then they and then he ends up dying from that white cop whose name I fully don't remember.
Yeah.
And he like says, "Oh, and I'll help you out," and then he like, but then he like dies or whatever. But like Pike wasn't really a character. He was almost like a cartoon villain who was just like, ha ha ha, and I put these black guys away and I'll do it again. And he like fully forgot who they were because like as is evil, you don't remember all the fucked up stuff you do. But I almost feel like we needed to see him a little bit more, almost, for me to feel more satisfied with him dying. Because as it stood, I was like, Pike, huh? Then they did the flashback, and I was like, oh, okay, that's who they're talking about. And then the part where they somehow were able to set the building on fire and fake their death. show your work movie. That made no sense.
Yeah.
Show your
Yeah.
And then the other part of that was the narrator guy who was like telling the whole story to the like inmates who were digging I believe their graves. He full on the pair of them spelled out the ending at one point.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, it does seem that way that they didn't get their freedom. And he was like, what are you saying, man? Are you saying that the bodies that we're burning right now are not Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence? And he's like, I'm not. And I was like, we're not stupid.
Yeah.
Like, granted, you didn't show your work for how they escaped, but like, I think we can all put two and two together that you don't have to say. So basically, at the end of this movie, they escaped, and they're not the ones that we're digging the hole for, guys. I was like, who are you?
Yeah, I forgot the narrating thing was happening for like in the middle of the movie until like someone started talking. I was like, who is that guy? And then at the end, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot this thing was happening. Like being told as a story.
Yeah, that's why I think you can always cut a narrator, because this didn't need it. Especially when he and his story listeners like sat down and said, okay guys, so this is how the story really ended.
Yeah.
Exactly
what happened.
Yeah. No like making illusions or anything, no like shroud of mystery, just like, what are you saying, Dan? Are you saying that they really escaped? I'm like,
yeah. Oh man.
That made me upset.
Yeah. I think my big problem with this movie, I thought the whole thing just felt like kind of rushed and disjointed. Like it seemed like it took a while for them to even get to prison. I forgot why the movie was called Life until like maybe like the 30-minute mark. And this is like a 90-minute movie, you know? So like they didn't really get to prison till like minute mark 30, and then they're in prison, and I don't know. You're kind of getting to see them there. They're like, there would be scenes where they'd be like, "Oh, we should plan an escape," and then the very next scene is them like running away, you know, or like, like even when they get the life sentence, it's like there was no build up. Like we didn't even see the court case. Like they were kind of just again after 30 minutes of like them kind of fooling around, like going on these little like side missions. So we know like, oh, they have money problems. One dude likes gambling. Yeah. Like none of the stuff they did outside really mattered until they found the dead guy. Like I guess the whole watch thing did, but it just seemed like, you know, then they're like after that they like immediately go to jail. Then like they're immediately in this life sentence, and then once they start time hopping, it felt like even more rushed. You know, because I think after the first time hop, the movie kind of lost a lot for me. I just don't like. I understand why the time hops were there, but again, in a movie that already felt kind of rushed and choppy, like the time hops made it seem even more rushed, because it's like, okay, let's get this 80-year story in this 90-minute, you know, show, and we've already wasted 30 minutes doing that first part.
Yeah, so, I can't remember if Martin Lawrence was on a sketch show or not, but it definitely played like a bunch of vignettes and like little tiny like capsule stories that like was told, and then the story was like completed in its little bubble, but it didn't flow into the next story. So like essentially you can just read the Wikipedia of this for a full summary, then just like look up the scenes you want, and it would be the same as watching the movie all the way through.
Yeah, and I guess like they almost seemed like they were just doing like slightly longer little skits, you know, for a lot of these scenes. You know, like I don't know, like the cornbread fight. I thought it was funny, but like it just seemed kind of like a skit almost, or like more like a concept. Like they just threw like a bunch of concepts out, and you know, just like strung them together. And you have two like really funny people, so like it was enjoyable. Makes sense but
why they did that, because it's like you have two really funny guys who are like at the height of their fame, or like at like the peak of their comedy at this point, and it's like I want them to like just do their thing. I'm gonna riff. We're just gonna like keep the camera on them and all that stuff. So I can see why they did that.
Yeah, and I guess like
did I think it made for an effective story? No, it did not.
Yeah, definitely not. I guess other negatives.
Let's see. I think mostly the ending was my big thing, and sometimes the bickering lasted too long for me. But I find that true on a lot of these movies where you have, like, really funny comedic actors. I think sometimes at the cutting room floor, whoever the editor of the movie is, they just don't want to, like, cut it up. They're like, they're so funny, and we got them in this movie, and it's, like, so great. But it's, like, instead of... And you end the scene on a joke, but then they, like, keep the second and third joke that they like did afterwards, and it's like no, you can cut those, like that's okay. And I guess I don't know what happened to the women in this movie. I think they all just disappeared. So that's always a bummer, but I fully, they also weren't characters too, so like, what can you say?
Yeah. The last two things I had, one was like kind of, actually they're both kind of small. I thought it was like slightly heavier skewed toward Eddie Murphy. Like, I thought it was like a 70-30 split between like, almost like lines that Eddie Murphy had versus
I could see
Martin.
that.
Which, like, I don't know, it wasn't like a huge problem, but I just I thought it would be more even, I guess. I don't know.
No, I can see that. Because I think at this point, I was looking at Martin Lawrence, but I don't think he did sketch comedy at this point.
Oh, when did Martin come out? The Martin show.
Martin came out in 92 to 97. So he would have done that already. But that's not a sketch show. That's like a sitcom. Whereas Eddie Murphy, like, did a sketch show. Like, he was in SNL. And I guess Martin Lawrence also did stand-up comedy. But I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying with this point.
Yeah. The last thing I had was kind of similar to like the woman point. I thought there were like some like random subplots. The main one I had was the Can't Get Right. That kid, the baseball kid. Like, we saw nothing of that kid that happened. Like, and then I thought he was going to be at the baseball game at the end, but like he wasn't even there, unless I missed something. But like he left and we never heard of him again, which I was like, okay.
It wasn't even like they like left to try to see him again in a baseball game.
Yeah.
Which would have been a nice kind of full circle moment, or at least like a crescent moon, because I don't think his story was like strong enough to like fully be a circle, but it would have been like almost a circle.
Well, honestly, I don't need a circle, but between his baseball thing and the kid, I thought he would have come up again after that scene, but like
how do
the
you
kid
not
didn't come up and the baseball thing didn't come up. Like they didn't close either of them off, you know? But
so it's more like a line.
Yeah, it's like not even a line, just literally 2 points. Like 2 points of like, oh, this guy plays baseball, this guy has a kid. We're gonna say nothing else about it though. You know?
We're never gonna mention either of those points again. Even though they definitely go to a baseball game at the end. And like he has a kid. And you all like stood up for him so that he wouldn't get in trouble for having this kid. Like,
who's like the warden's daughter or whatever. So like, I thought it'd be mentioned. You know.
Yeah.
But I think those were all my negatives for this one.
All right. So now we're on to ratings.
Yeah, ratings. I guess I'll go first. Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, for real, I'll go first on this one.
Okay.
I gave this one a 3 out of 5. I thought this movie was actually pretty funny, but it's still balanced, having some of those like more touching and real moments. And I think the chemistry between Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy was really good, and they played off each other really well. It just wasn't the strongest story-wise. Like, if you kind of look at it as a bunch of sketches, it's really fun. But if you like look at it as a movie, you're kind of like, I don't understand how we got from point A to point B in between any scene. So that kind of dinged it off. But it still was like very funny. So I think that definitely made it stronger than some other stories that have a disjointed plot for us.
Yeah. I gave it a 3 as well. Like, I don't know, this one definitely kept me laughing like pretty much from start to finish, with like some real like belly laughs in there. So it was definitely like really funny. Again, like Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence were great. Like Bernie Mac's character was great. Like there were just so many like really funny characters and like funny ideas and scenes. But again, like it just didn't feel like a cohesive project or like a cohesive movie. So it like between it feeling rushed and like kind of disjointed, and then the time skips making it feel even more rushed and disjointed. Like I think it kind of lost me a bit halfway through the movie. Or not halfway, whatever the first time hop happened, I really was like, ugh, I don't know. But then the second time skip happened, and I was like, okay, like I don't know, but
I guess we're just doing
it was definitely enjoyable. It was definitely a lot of fun, very enjoyable, and like easy to watch. Didn't stay too long, so it definitely was an overall like good experience, but just not like amazing or anything, or like a perfect movie or anything.
Yeah.
So, I think 3 stars is good.
Yeah.
But
Final question: do you wish you saw this sooner?
Oh yeah, this one was a pretty easy no for me. Again, like there's nothing spectacular about it. It was a funny movie, but there are a lot of funny movies. So
Yeah, I also said no too because I didn't really feel like I missed anything. Like this wasn't like, even in the terms of like the Black Catch-Up sphere where it's like we do movies we feel like are talked about a lot for Black people. I don't even think I've heard anyone talk about this ever on Twitter or anything like that, which is where I a lot of times get inspiration for like a movie that I would pick. But this one I picked because I saw it on Netflix and I was like, Life, the premise seems interesting. And I saw Eddie Murphy and I was like, okay, cool. And you know Eddie Murphy's pretty like reliable for a laugh, Harlem Nights aside. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay, nice. So yeah, that was Life.
Yes.
YouTube housekeeping. Like, comment, subscribe.
Ring the bell for notifications. If you have any movie suggestions for us, you can leave them in the comments down below. We do movies on Tuesdays and Fridays. All of our socials will be linked in the description box down below. And we'll see you next time to catch up. Bye! And that was Life. For some reason, I kept having Nicki Minaj's Moment for Life stuck in my head during this movie.
That is a good song, though.
Yeah. But I was like, I think just because it has the word life in it.
Yeah, no, literally just because of the word life. There's no other reason.
Like, what?
Yeah.
But it stuck in my head so firmly, and I was like, that makes literally no sense other than the fact that the word life is in there. But then at that point, why this life song and why not another song that has the word life?
No, because then you think about the song, like, oh, I want this moment for life, and it's like, they don't want this moment for life.
I know.
You know?